All right, good morning, folks. It is, well, it's about 11 a.m. Eastern Time. On one device, mine says 11. On my computer here, it says 10:59, but I think it's close enough here. We can go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Joshua, and I'm going to be your presenter. We're here to talk about the accounting new year, opening the new year, and getting your budget amounts entered for the new year. We're hoping we're going to have a little better luck today regarding our technology. Last time we had this webinar, this machine I'm working on crashed, and we weren't able to get through the entire event. So hopefully we should be able to get through this today without any technical problems. All right, so hopefully everybody also had a chance to log in and maybe has had a chance to look at the webinar or the intro movie there, kind of showing a little bit about how the control panel works for the for the webinar. Um, if you've seen what you came to see, of course, please X out or close out of the webinar. And thank you for attending in advance. Of course, we hope that you'll find the event helpful. We're going to work till 11:20 Eastern Time. I will promptly finish up with what I'm here to discuss by no later than that time. If you have questions, by all means, stick around. I'm happy to answer those. I do want to let folks know that it is just me today. This is a fairly large event. I will try to my best to keep an eye on questions, but I may or may not be able to get to those until after the 20 minutes are up. Um, again, and we also ask that you do keep the questions topical, meaning, please try to keep your questions to the end of your topic for accounting. If you have other questions about other portions of Church Windows, either look for that in another webinar event or please call us, our support staff. We're always happy to help. All right, so the first thing I want to point out about this is the document that I'm using for today's event is at our website here. If we go to www.churchwindows.com, we go down to the left side. Let me introduce my highlighter here. Over here under our support section, under using Church Windows, we see this one link page called New Year Prep and Help. This link is chock full of information, useful information for dealing with New Year's preparation, end of year procedures, what have you. So notice here down the page we've got end of year and New Year prep documents in the list on the left, right here. And then we've got end of year movies listed on the right here. Here's our dividing line. So notice here we've got short end of year overview, or membership, or donations, or contributions, or accounting. We're of course talking about accounting today. But here we've got accounting New Year steps. This is the document that I'm using as my guide today for the today's webinar event. You also have closing accounting year here. We're not going to talk about closing the year, but if your church is looking at or considering closing using the hard close feature, definitely make a point of printing that document. It will prove helpful. Okay, there is all kinds of useful information, not only on the New Year end of year and New Year prep page, or New Year prep and help page, but also under our new version resources and our support blog. If you've not utilized those, please take a look at those pages. We're adding all kinds of new information to it every day, every week. Okay. And as we are now halfway into December and the new year approaches, our support volume doubles, triples in January, and it may not take us, we may not be as good about getting back to you. So please, you may be able to find an answer to your question under one of these resource pages at our website before a technician can get back to you. So that's the reason why we're stressing this here, okay? All right, so anyway, that's just a reference that's why we're not including a handout here, is because this is included right here under our Accounting New Year Prep Steps and the Accounting New Year Steps PDF file. That is exactly the document that I'm using, okay? All right, so here we are in Church Windows, and we go into accounting, and it still clearly says here at our opening screen for accounting, he said, opening accounting, January through December 2015. We are not in our new year yet, right here. This is important that you learn to, look at that information to confirm that you're in the proper accounting period. the document even alludes to on the first page there, before opening your new year, please make sure that you have no outstanding invoices under your pay bills screen. That is a movie at our website under the blog page or under the New Year Prep Help page called Marking Bills as Paid. So we have all kinds of information about this available. Okay? Okay, so the first thing I encourage folks to do is to don't think of it so much as closing 2015 as much as opening 2016 or the new year. Okay? We have lots of users who've already had 2016 open for weeks, even months in some cases, because they know that they can. You can work between the two accounting periods for as long as you need. So if you've not already opened 2016, go ahead and do it now. Okay, you can rework your chart of accounts, add, delete accounts if necessary, enter your budget amounts. You're not having to scramble then at the end of the year when you get to December 31st to get stuff ready to open for your posting of the new year. You can have plenty of time to be prepared for that. Okay? Yeah, all of your accounts and everything are going to be available and still in 2015. You just won't post in 2016 until you're ready. The first thing on the second page of this document that this points to is make a backup of your data. It's so simple. If we go to, out at the main window, go to Admin and Backup, you just choose what you're wanting to back up, where you want to back it up to using the Browse button. Once you've chosen that location, then simply you click on Start Backup and it backs up your data. It is that easy. Make a note of where you're backing it up to, but the backups, of course, give us peace of mind to proceed with major changes to the database, knowing that we can undo those by restoring a backup if necessary. Without the backup, frequently we're in a position where we can't go back. I can't undo the end of year procedure without a backup. Once we've made our backup, we would go back into accounting again. We're in 2015. We would go up simply to special functions at the top, right here to our Manage Years menu. When the menu pops up, we would choose Set Up New Accounting Year. And there are two options here. Well, of course, creating next accounting year, January through December 2016, which is what we're here and we're going to do. We are going to copy our chart of accounts from January through December of 2015, and we are going to copy our budget amounts as well. Or if your church is, if your chart of accounts is in dire place and you think you need to start over, you can ask the system to start 2016 and enter an empty chart of, or start over with and enter a brand new chart of accounts if you wish. Okay. But we're going to copy our chart of accounts from 15 to 16. I always recommend, copying my budget amounts. If you know that all of the budget amounts are going to change, then by all means you don't have to do that. But if the example that I used to like to use on my support calls is if only 60% of your budgeted accounts change, then you've saved yourself 40% work having to re-enter those budget amounts. They can always be changed, and I'm going to show you that here in just a few minutes. So here we're going to do Create New Years to 2016, Copy Chart of Accounts, Copy Budget Amounts. We simply click OK. It then says now our opening window now at the top right reads January through December 2016. Right here. Okay. So we've already updated, opened our new year, copied our chart of accounts. I can now go in and we can make changes to the chart of accounts if we wish. Add new accounts, delete unwanted accounts if necessary. The new year is now open. Okay, so 99% of the time we're not going to do that, recopy that chart of accounts over again. But what you will do, and this is probably one of the most commonly overlooked steps as part of the end of year procedure, is I still have to go back, and this may have to occur regularly, is go up to Special Functions while I'm in the new year, Manage Years, and choose Update Beginning Balances from Prior Accounting Year Balance Sheets. I'm basically saying I want to make sure that my December 31st or prior year balance sheet totals are brought forward to start the new year. Okay? So I can do that today. It'll say, are you sure you want to update balances for January through December 16 from January through December 15? We're going to click yes. Now my balances were updated successfully. But now if I go in next week or next month or what have you and make further changes to my ending balances for 15, which of course, with 2 weeks left to go in the year, I'll have to change my year forward into 16 and update those beginning balances again. Church Windows does not, that is a user-driven function, and Church Windows doesn't do it for you automatically. You have to do that, okay? I like to share this a little bit of wisdom with users is that the most common reason why a church or user will reconcile their bank statements in accounting through December 31st of the prior year, and then all of a sudden will have trouble reconciling their asset accounts to zero for the first month of the new year, is because the beginning balances were not updated one final time. Okay? So just FYI for you that if you reconcile and you're not reconciling for January, check your beginning balances. That may be the culprit. Okay, so I've now just brought forward, if I were to run my balance sheet through December 31st of 15 and then include my beginning balances for 16, those two balance sheet reports would have the same exact balances on them, okay? And again, I would want to make sure that I can do that as many times as I need. I can update beginning balances every day if I want, okay? Then when I'm ready, I just simply go up to Special Functions, Manage Years, change to another existing accounting year, and then it'll, I can choose 2015 from the list, simply click OK, and now I'm back in my current accounting year, ready to continue to work like I would normally. Okay? All right, so we're going to go back to 2016 now, because we're going to talk a little bit about our budget. So when we go up to Budgets now, and Budget in the top left, this opens our budget screen and does reflect or show all of the budget amounts that we brought forward from 2015, because that's what we asked it to do. So if I maximize this window, entering the budget in Church Windows is very straightforward. Simply you go down the list here, finding each account, and simply putting a check mark in each one of the accounts that we consider a budgeted account. Okay? If we, like if I click on, say, something like, wedding income or interest on checking and savings here, those are not budgeted accounts. We notice over here on the right side, there is no place for me to key in a budget. Okay? But as soon as I click on an account, as soon as I check a box, notice now on the right there is a location where I can choose annual, quarterly, or monthly, budget amount or income. I can just key in an amount if I want. Let's try this again. I'm having trouble with that. I'm not sure why. But then once I click on the enter that amount, then that, let's try this again. There it is. Once I click on annual, then notice it auto distributes that across quarterly and monthly below that. But that's how easy it is to enter budget amounts. You just use the search field up here, find your specific account that you're looking for, put a check mark in the budgeted box, enter the budget amount. Okay? I can't print from this screen, but we can print the budget report. Also, if you've been using Church Windows for at least 1 year, you can use the budget projection feature here in the upper left if you wish, right here. So here we're going to click on budget projection. It's going to open our budget projection window. Well, after we click OK to exclusive access. So it's now loading our budget amounts. Then here it is, it's loading our budgets. So here then, if we kind of create a little more room here to see a little more of this window, we notice prior year budget, prior year actual, but projected budget. So again, it's bringing forward the budget from the prior year per our end of year procedure and us asking it to do so. So here in the upper left corner, we can, of course, it says right up here to, do we, based on, our income budget or expense budget, do we want to increase or decrease it by a specific percent? And will that change be based on last year's budget or actual, either income or income expense budget or actual amounts, okay? There's commonly some sort of misunderstandings about this. So let's say our income budget, we're expecting our income to go up this year by 3% based on last year's actual, and our expense budget is going to increase based on last year's budgeted amount. And I can simply click the View Projection. Okay. So here it's showing our prior year actual projected budget. So obviously we budgeted last year very poorly, and we didn't receive that much income. But in any case, I'm just here to show you how those amounts are changing based on the requested amounts that we're asking for here. Okay, and you can play with this. Okay, the reason why that is because nothing is saved here until we click the Save and Close here. Okay. So even if I were to say click Save and Close, this is just, again, a common misunderstanding. If I click Save and Close, it'll say, are you wish to overwrite current budgets with the projected amounts? Yes. So I've gone, oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Now I can go up here and go, okay, oh, it's taken a second. SQL's taken a little bit longer to update those. It's now writing those budget amounts for me. But if I go back to budget and I go, I want to change that, sorry, budget projection. Click OK. It's loading my budget amounts again. So if I just type in 0 based on last year's budget and click View Projection, it's going to change those amounts back to the original defaults. Does everybody see that here? That if I just do 0, 0 and base it on last year's budget, I can be... it should base it on the prior year's budget. Yeah, and it did. It rechanged all of those accounts back. So I can reset those back to the original amounts. You're not locking yourself out of and making it so it's that horrible. Yes, we would still recommend you make a backup. But again, when I click Save and Close on those, it will ask me if I want to overwrite the budget amount. So I can still go back to where I started by using the budget projection. I cannot print from this screen. Okay. If you want to print a projected budget, you would have to save it. Go print your budget report, then come back in and reset those back or change those amounts if you wish. Okay. There's a lot of misunderstanding about that. So just be aware you're not, they can always be changed or reset back if necessary. Again, folks, now that we're in the new year, you can go into your, manage accounts, make changes, or we can go up to special functions, change structure. You can go through the renumber routine and change your account numbers if you wish. Just remember that anytime you go back and change your ending balances for the prior year, you will need to update your beginning balances, from the old year to the new year, since Church Windows does not do that for you. Okay. A lot of churches, again, don't wait. Get started on that now. Okay. There's no need to wait. Doesn't mean you have to be done with the prior year. You just have to be ready to open and work in the new year in order to get things ready for that. Okay. So in a nutshell, that's our end of year steps, getting our budget amounts entered. Yes, when I'm done, I can go up to reports, budget here, and I can print my budget report if I wish to show my 2016 figures if I wish, once those budget amounts are entered. All right, so we've got about another 30 or 45 seconds here before we're done at 20 after. I see some questions coming in here. All right, I'm being asked, for projections, can I use different percentages for different categories, 5% for utilities, 2% for staff salaries? That's a great question. No, that's a great question, Bill. No, and when we go to the budgets window and budget projection, and this is a across-the-board increase or decrease based on all of our income, budgeted income and expense accounts, based on based on amounts from the prior year. Good question. Since we are using Church Windows for the first time and we'll be closing out the end of the year, will we need to finalize 2015 before we can proceed with entering the budget data for 2016. You'll have to finalize your beginning balances, Sally, for the 2015 year, but that doesn't mean you're closing the year. All you're saying is you need to set the beginning balances that are set in the software. You can still post transactions and everything else. If I'm understanding the question correctly, I think that's what you're asking me. If not, please call me 1-800-533-5227. I'm happy to help you with it. Yeah, again, folks, just I can't stress enough, the software does not require that we go up to special functions, manage years, and use the close accounting year function. Okay, I'm going to reiterate that again. Close accounting year is simply a way of hard closing the year to prevent further changes that are being made to the accounting data for that period, but the software for the program Church Windows does not require that that function be done. That is simply an option for our users. But beginning balances for the prior year, if you're just setting up the Church Windows or converting over, you will have to finalize your beginning balances for 2015 before it will permit us to open 2016. Good. Great questions. All right, folks, I'm waiting to see if there's other questions coming in here. I'm not seeing anything coming in yet. We will have a video presentation of this on the new version available on our website here soon. Just because it's the version 18, but honestly, the one that's out there now from 14, it covers the exact same information. So until we get that movie out there, that presentation and that document are still there available for you to use as a resource. Thank you, Carrie. All right, I don't want to rush out. I know folks that sometimes it takes folks a few seconds or a little bit of time to type in questions to me. I don't want to rush folks, assuming that there's not being something entered here. Again, folks, if you've seen what you came to see, please just close out of the webinar presentation or use the File menu and choose Exit Leave Webinar. Thank you. We hope to see you at another Church Windows User Group webinar event. Please visit the user group webinar page on our website for the current list. We will take a break from those in January, but we will get back to them in February for sure. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions coming in. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar for everyone. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great holiday season. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.